Wow, a video by Gameranx. Gameranx, bruh. I have not watched a video by Gameranx in a while. Welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, send out a lot of love. Shout out to Gameranx. Guys, we're on the road to 500,000. If you enjoy the video, subscribe. This is 10 late night gamer confessions we finally admitted. So I'm going to do my detective work and see if these are universal. Let's hop in.
We're all often busy during the day. We've got jobs, we've got school, we've got families, we've got obligations.
What are those?
So, some of us play games after hours. Hi
Facts.
folks, it's Falcon, and today on Gameranx, 10 confessions of a late night gamer. At number 10, the fear of getting caught is real. Unless you're living alone or sharing an apartment with a like-minded night owl, there's always the fear in the back of your mind of getting caught when you're up late gaming. It's unavoidable. First, your parents.
Honestly, I ain't give a fuck. I will take the getting caught.
Then
Get out of here.
Who, by the way, has to get up at 5 a.m. for their construction job. He says he's not mad, but he's definitely kind of pissed off. Then your spouse or your kids, because you definitely don't want to wake them up. Or let's say you live with your elderly parents, for instance. They sleep from 8 p.m. and get all pissy if a pillow falls on the floor. The fear of getting caught gaming late at night never ends for a lot of people. Like, everything just sounds louder late at night when you're trying to game, and it drives you crazy. Like a console or a PC. They sound like
jumbo jets.
The fan
That is a fact.
revs up and it's like, are we taking off? Using
That's
a
a
mouse
fact, though.
isn't loud during the day when things are going on, but play in the dark, you sound like one of the clicker
Click
monsters.
it.
in
Ah,
Last
that's
of
a
Us.
fact.
Just click, click, click,
Kind of,
except
kinda,
You're the
kinda.
one who gets their throat ripped out when you get caught. And
Yep.
let's say you use a mechanical keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
You're already dead. Nobody's sleeping.
Bro, this is so facts. This had me weak. When I was living with my friend's mom was like, bro, he types 100% like faster than 95% of fucking humans that exist, and like I have a mechanical keyboard too, so I'd be going off. She was laughing, but it wasn't at night. It was like in the mornings. But that shit was so funny. Yeah, nobody's
And
sleeping
we've all
through
been
that shit.
there, listening for any creaks
Fucking
in the
listen to the fucking-
floorboard or squeaks. In the
I was
door
gonna press the
hinges
keys,
being
but-
open, whatever. Anytime you hear something, you freeze like you're a squirrel seeing a dog come walking by, and you just stop everything until the sound passes. This is where the real horror starts, though. You think you're safe, and you start gaming without concern, only to realize that your parents or your spouse is just standing right there. Mr. X has nothing on that.
That's a
Anyone
fact.
who's been gaming long enough at night starts to get some kind of sixth sense after a while, a spidey sense, if you will, where they just know something's about to go down, so they peace out.
That is
You
a
are solid
fact,
snake.
bro. That is a fact. Nah, that is no lie. You get this. You build up this sixth sense. And what's weird is like, yo, this actually just happened last night to me. It's like a weird ass pressure in your head, and like you'll look up and you'll know someone's there.
Snake,
This shit's
Sam
wild.
Fisher, or one of the 100 guys from Assassin's Creed combined into one guy.
Yep.
When you shut the system down and go to bed, only for your parents to check in the room a minute or two later. That is S-rank stealth right there.
That's right, stealth.
And
I
number
love that.
9, basically getting drunk off of a lack of sleep. You know what I'm talking about. You're up super late, you're playing games, you go into this weird trance, you lose all the ability to speak normally, and you go into the laugh at everything mode. I mean, everybody
Yo,
has a different
yes.
term for it. Late night loopiness, the giggles, whatever. But
Yes.
everybody starts doing it eventually. And there's a cycle to late night gaming. You start off alert, ready to go. After a few hours, you get super sleepy. And if you manage to somehow power
through that,
that's when
you-
you get to this stage.
Yeah,
where
you get
become
to
weirdly alert.
as sensitive.
Maybe it's adrenaline. Maybe it's the third can of Red Bull.
No, it's not. It's actually a superpower. It's insane, bro. Yeah, you're like sitting in the chair. You're grinding, and then all of a sudden you're like, I do like one of these, but I'm still like got my hands on the mouse and keyboard, so I'm like, then you kind of knock and be like, then you wake up and you're just like this. And then like you don't know what sleep is
I
anymore.
don't know. Whatever it is, it messes you up. Your senses are all heightened. You feel your skin tingling.
Yeah.
And you get this
Hyper
hyper-awareness
awareness.
where you feel your
Yeah.
heart
You
beating
hear.
and stuff.
Yeah.
You'd think that
It's
being more
fucking
awake would
weird.
improve your gameplay. It doesn't actually make that much of a difference. It's actually like you're still half asleep. You're
Yeah.
just more aware of being half asleep. Like
Yes.
You're awake, but your reflexes and reaction times are still as bad as if you were dragging ass.
Yeah, this is an actual weird state, but thankfully I play things, well, nowadays I play things like just the survival or building games, so it's actually pretty pretty cool state. But it does still feel oddly weird, but you're not playing a competitive shooter. Like CSGO, Valorant, you're not playing that in the state.
Because you technically are. It's an uncanny feeling for sure.
It is.
If there's anyone else around and you're doing some late night multiplayer or raiding, then they're probably all feeling the same way, and that's when conversations start getting everyone's slurring words and giggling like fools because their brains are starting to shut down. It's like a collective manic episode where nothing makes sense at all. But it's really, really funny.
It really
if some
is
third party
funny.
was listening, they probably think you were all high
as
or
fuck,
totally insane. But no, you're just gaming at night. It screws with your head.
Yeah.
And number 8 is Uno Mas, a.k.a.
Mas.
One More Syndrome. You know exactly what we're talking about.
Oh,
You're
Uno
playing a
Mas.
game, you get to some cinematic event, you're invested, and you want to keep going on. It's 10 p.m., you got plenty of time, so sure, let's just keep playing for one more level.
Bro, Uno Mas was like fucking one more game, bro. And he might end up saying that one and get to that, but that's okay. That sucks if he does, because that's a cop out for one of the numbers that you could probably make another confession. But it was always one more game, bro, or one more round, bro. That's always what it was. He said one more level, but I'm just going more picky with it. But it's definitely, I know all of us have heard that, yo, one more game, just squad up, just come on, ready up, one last one. I've been the person to say, both sides of it, been the person and been the person involved. And it's like, or I guess that's 3, been the person involved in getting the group to stay, been the person to say it, to start it, and been the person caught in the loop of, yeah, one more game, and my ass is damn near half my body's asleep.
Then you get to the end, it's like, damn, it's midnight, better go to bed. But first, let's see what this next level looks like. And you just keep going, and suddenly you hear birds chirping, and the sun is coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's 6 in the
morning. We call it One More Syndrome, and it's something every gamer worth their salt gets gripped by.
Last game.
Doesn't have to be a single-player game or anything either. It could be one more multiplayer game, one more roguelike run, one more turn in a 4X game. It actually does.
Bro, yes, bro. Gungeon sucked my soul. Pause. Live on stream one day, bro. You just die in a roguelike, and because of what a roguelike game does, it's the fucking replayability, man. You just like want to see what's the next gun unlock. What's the next one? What's the next one? What could have been the outcome, bro? And it just does not stop.
Doesn't really matter, but the feeling does. You're invested. The game gets its hooks in you, and that can make time fly like nothing else.
Yes.
Not every game is like that.
Literally getting hooked in a game proves that time doesn't exist, bro.
It takes a special game to come around and really grab you. But when they do, they really pull you in. You want to keep exploring. You want to keep up a winning streak or whatever. And that means you got to keep playing. It's especially bad when you're right at the end of a game and it just keeps going. Like, I'm all for a game that goes past the point where when you think it's supposed to end. Sometimes it's a cool surprise, but when it's 2 a.m. and you're like, all right, be done. I am still awake at 2 a.m. and I don't want to be.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes a problem. Or hell, when you do get to the ending and the credits just go on and on and on, and you don't want to hit skip because you're afraid you're going to skip a post-credit scene or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know if there's going to be one there, but the credits just never stop. They've been playing for like 20 minutes now. Is it looping? I can't tell. I'm in a state, remember? On top of the One More Syndrome, I've also got the late night loopiness, so I'm not entirely alert. I just want to see if there's something after the credits, and the game is not making it easy. Just want to go to sleep, but I got to stay awake for these 40 minutes of Ubisoft game credits just to see a 5-second teaser for something that probably won't get followed up on in the next game anyway. And number 7, when you want to go to sleep, but you end up using your phone for hours instead. So you turn off your gaming system or PC at a semi-reasonable time, fully expecting to get a night's sleep. See, you can be responsible. No late-night gaming session for me. Need to be up bright and early. So, turn on the phone, look for something to watch to drift off to sleep, and an hour becomes 2 hours, which 3 hours, then 4 hours, and it never ends. Doesn't have to be YouTube. Could be doom scrolling on Twitter, watching TikToks, using
doom scrolling on Twitter, bro. He called it doom scrolling. I've never heard that.
Or Discord if you exist in the present time. Or maybe you bought the Angry Birds remaster. I don't know. You're trying to sleep. You don't want to be up all night gaming, but you kind of just substituted one thing for another. It's almost worse, too. Like, if you had stayed up, you could have made some progress in that game or earned some levels or something. But instead, you end up scrolling YouTube for hours and not even really watching anything. Just time wasted. Nothing to show for it. Of course, non-gamers would say that either activity is a waste of time, but we know better. For some of us, being a late-night gamer is less of a conscious choice and more a way of life. Sometimes you just can't sleep, even when you really, really want to. And number 6, when you realize you have to go to work or school in a few hours and you got to decide if you're going to get a few hours of sleep or just power through it. Everyone who games late into the night eventually hits the threshold point where you have to decide. Are you going to try and get 3 hours of sleep
or YOLO
now,
it,
or are you just going to muscle through and keep gaming all night and deal with the consequences later? It's a decision that leaves us sweating bullets because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You either sleep for a few hours, which already isn't guaranteed, like you might not be able to sleep anyway, or you just stay up and risk feeling miserable for the rest of the day.
Yep.
This is the moment when you got all the equations and algebra floating around in your head because there's some real mental math you've got to figure out. Or,
that is so facts.
Or is it mental gymnastics? I don't know. Either way, it's got to be done fast.
That's a fact.
Is sleeping going to even do any good?
That's a fact. Yeah. I've asked that too, man. We all have.
Yeah, it will. But when you're in the middle of a game, the answer doesn't feel that obvious.
True.
Also, 3 hours of sleep, while definitely better than 0 hours of sleep, doesn't make you not feel like ass. But
that's the thing. That's the real funny thing, because it's a meme now, and I'm sure you could all agree. There's sometimes where you get 8 hours of sleep or 2 hours or 3, and it feels the same. There was a meme I seen recently of that, and I was like, bro, that's literally so facts. You can get 8 hours or 3 hours, and you'll feel both simultaneously shitty waking up. Like, it doesn't matter.
Real danger is that if you do choose to
That's why there's some times where I made this choice and it worked in my benefit.
Go to sleep, you may not wake up.
Power through. That was one. Yes, that was true.
Does way less at 3 hours of sleep than it does at 8. I will tell you that right now. So now you're tired and late when you go to school or work, which only makes you more miserable than if you just stayed awake. So you stay up all night and go to school or work and try to play it cool, but everybody can tell.
True.
Your bloodshot eyes and corpse-like appearance give it away every time. Now you have to get a drug test because your job thinks you're doping, but you're clean. You're not high unless you can get high on gaming. Then you're very high, but you're not high because that's not real. And number 5, when you start seeing things and having weird, messed up dreams from gaming. It's inevitable. Stay up late enough while gaming and you start getting paranoid. Not just the standard afraid you'll wake somebody up paranoid. I'm talking more of an afraid the events of the ring might actually happen style paranoid.
Oh, no, this hasn't
happened to me. At a certain point, it just starts getting very weird and irrational. Like you're afraid a dead-eyed Oblivion NPC is going to sneak up on you or something. There's also the normal visions you get from staring at a bright screen too long. Those little weird flashing lights you see in your eyes that almost look 3D but aren't. Then there's the advanced visions where you're practically lucidly dreaming and you start seeing liquors appear in the corner of your eye, and then Luigi is floating over your bed giving you the death stare or something.
What the fuck?
It's worse when you're kind of half asleep and your dreams start mixing with whatever you're actually doing. It gets especially weird when you're playing some game that already feels like a nightmare. Like for some reason, any old PS1 games that, you know, that weird polygon and texture distortion that
Spyro,
is
bro. I love this game.
I guess the garbled pixels and weird darkness of those games just set off the nightmare sensors in my brain or something. But play any PS1 game long enough and late enough, and suddenly you start dreaming about like Duke Nukem dying from a gunshot wound while making baby crying sounds, and you try to give him a med pack, but it doesn't do anything because it's just a bunch of pixels.
This is his fucking personal experience I see right now, because I'm like, bro, not a shot. Usually when I late night game, I'll end up in the game, and I'll end up like, there's a time where I was playing Watch Dogs 2, and the main character is Marcus. So yeah, I'm gonna say it. He's an African American man. So pretty much, it got so crazy one point where there's like a mission I was doing. I don't remember, like one of the infiltrations. Flip it, hack, blah blah blah, nerdy code, everything, right? And I fell asleep, and I woke up doing the mission. Like, I woke up lucid dreaming, just doing the mission. Like, and I wasn't even Marcus. Like, I was still me. It was like Lunar in the game. So they were addressing me like, hey, we got to get this shit finished. And I was like, fuck. And it was cool because I didn't know what to do. But everything operated as if it was like, I just had to think it. So it was like, I couldn't really use the hacks or the technology. What was it, CTOS hacks that I had on my phone? But if I thought about it, it somehow did it. So yeah, if you know Watch Dogs 2, you know. And I had a getaway drive at like damn near halfway through the dream. I can't really tell the length of dreams. Sometimes they feel like days, but yeah, that was an awesome dream. And that's what happens to me with most dreams or most media in general. I'll watch like a show and I'll end up in the show when I go to sleep. Or even in that halfway state, I'll think the character is there, but it's never turned into a nightmarish thing.
Really depends on
Unless it's a horror game.
who you are, though. If you're the type that gets weird dreams, then any amount of late night gaming of any kind is going to end up with some permanent psych damage. Or at least a weird nightmare or two. And number 4, learning to open and close things stealthily by making the least noise.
Oh, this always goes
Late night gaming
wrong.
requires a certain set of skills.
True.
And we've covered a lot of those pretty extensively already.
Skyrim.
Stuff like creeping around the house, avoiding the spots where the floor creaks, peeing on the side of the toilet bowl so it makes less noise. But those are just a few things you do to avoid waking up parents, spouses, children, etc. when you're trying to game late at night. Getting through doors, particularly, isn't easy. Those things can be so noisy, so you have to turn the knob all the way so the latch doesn't make any noise, then slowly open the door so the hinges don't squeak, and then slowly, very slowly close the door again, making sure you still have the knob turned so you don't make the big clicking sound when you put the door back into place. Late night snacking is no easier. You really have to learn when and how to use the microwave so it makes the least amount of noise. Some people are lucky and have a machine that lets you mute all the sounds, but if you're a dumb kid that doesn't know any better, just aren't lucky enough to have a decent machine, your only option is to mash those keys so they at least don't make as much sound as they normally would. Of course, you've also got to cancel the timer before the alarm goes off because the baby hates that thing. It doesn't even end with the pregame stuff. While you're playing, you always have to look for ways to make less noise. Like if you've got headphones, you keep them down and play with one side off your ear.
Off your ear so you can listen. Yeah, bro, I still do it like this. Or if you don't even have some
headphones, you can turn the volume.
That is drilled into me. That's why I do this, bro. I feel like this one is drilled into everyone. Just always listen.
Almost all the way down and sit as close to the TV as possible. That was my strategy, and it worked about 50% of the time. Like headphones are the better option. Period. It's at night when you notice just how noisy a controller can be. But even then, there's ways to keep it down, so you don't press hard on the face buttons, and you go easy on the stick, so it doesn't clack around as much. At least with a phone, using touch controls is relatively silent. But if you're trying to play a late night game with a controller, it's going to take some finesse to keep from making too much noise. And number 3 is learning to
I just kept the controller under the blanket because you build up the muscle memory to remember where the buttons are. So like if there's anything on top of you or anything layered in general, it's going to do like noise canceling or noise suppression.
Navigate your house with your lights off. This is max level
This
stealth
is true.
right
This is
Boss
light
Extreme,
work though.
Iron Man Impossible.
If you got your phone, I just use the camera light and put it on the ground.
Mode. If you were a kid before smartphones, this was the default option.
Yes, and I was also in that genre in that time period where there wasn't really, there was phones going around, but I didn't have one yet. Light work. You just kind of feel the wall. Dude, I'm gonna sound like some alien, but like it was almost like you to astral project and see the layout of the house, or just remember the layout from just photographic memory, or just feel across the walls, move really low to the ground, and stay as close to one side as you can. Recognize patterns of how your family members move to the house.
Option, especially when you had to sneak into the family room or the living room to use the only.
See, that's never where my game system was, though. Mine was always in my room.
TV in the house.
So I was okay.
Even if
I had to sneak to the bathroom sometimes, or to the kitchen.
If you did have a TV hooked up in your room, you still had to sneak around in the dark to get to the kitchen.
Boom! Oh, what the... That was... Okay, that was inevitable, but that was cool.
Or a bathroom break, and that meant navigating the halls of the house until darkness. You got to be very quiet and still somehow get around an inky sea of blackness. Like Sam Fisher and Solid Snake didn't have to deal with that. They have night vision goggles, but all you get is a little baby nightlight in the hall and some moonlight coming in from the stairway or wherever the window is.
Bro, that's enough. That is enough.
Either memorize your house, you know all the spots your brother left his toys, so you're not slipping down the stairs on a Tonka truck, or
haha, only child, didn't have to worry about that bullshit.
You do that old pirate trick of closing one eye in the light and then just using that so you adjust to the darkness faster.
That's
like
actually
that cave
weird,
part
yeah.
In Metal Gear Solid 3. You eventually start to see things, but you just have to get your eyes used to the darkness. Do this stuff enough and your Vin Diesel is Riddick. You're more dangerous in the darkness than you are in the light. Or you could just use a flashlight like on your smartphone. That also works. And number 2, when you're so tired but you can't save and you just have to muscle through, but your skill
Yes.
level's shot and your reflexes are just gone. So you just get worse and worse and end up in a worse place than when you started. This one is just death and the absolute worst part of late night gaming. Stay up late enough, and no matter how many Red Bulls you drink, no matter how much coffee you have, or however many sodas you've gone through, eventually your body just starts to shut down from lack of sleep, and your motor functions just suffer from there. So your kill-death ratio starts to drop, you start making stupid mistakes, nothing comes together. It's especially bad when you're in a do-or-die situation, like you're in a raid and a team is depending on you, but your body is failing in real time, so there's only so much you can do.
Bro,
You're the last guy down, and it's up to you to take on the raid boss, and it's 4 a.m., and everyone's already losing their minds. But you've got to pull this one out, except you can't. You just can't fight nature. You might as well be trying to fist fight a mountain. It's just not happening. And all that progress just poof up in smoke. Or you finally made it to a tough boss and you really want to beat him. Everything goes pretty good the first time through. You get him mostly dead. So just one more go around should be enough to put this one in the bag. But no, you lose again and again and again. Well, it's supposed to take a few minutes tops, balloons into a multiple hour late night session that ends on an inconclusive note. The worst part is you sleep on it, you try again later, and you beat it first try. It's like, why did that give me any problems in the first place? And finally at number 1, probably the most obvious one, when you say, I'm going to sleep early tonight, and then you look outside after having played a video game for hours and you see the sun. It's universal. We've all been there. You got a test in the morning or an important meeting to worry about, so the plan is to go to sleep early. That awesome looking game just came out, sure, but you're only going to put a few hours in, so no big deal. But then it's suddenly midnight, then it's suddenly 4 a.m., then it's suddenly 6 a.m., then it's suddenly 9 a.m., and you're hearing the bees buzzing and the birds chirping, and see the sun like a magnificent father so grossly incandescent. For MMO,
that was a cold reference. I want to say the reference, but I'm gonna give you a minute if you didn't get the reference to what he just said. But that was Solaire. That was dope. That was a smooth one that he threw in there. That was a smooth one to throw in there. But this one is universal, but I can't say it is for me, bro. I'm going to be that guy claiming that this is not me because I've never worried about something like that. But I've gone through this. Like kind of earlier in the top 10 that he explained, there was one similar to this where it was kind of like that. Like, oh, should I go to sleep or stay up because I got to get up in like a few hours? There was that. But this one, no. I never had this problem. I just played the fucking game, bro. New release, I'm playing it. Fuck everything else.
Then it's suddenly 9 a.m.
Shit, we live in a simulation, right?
And
do it
you're
anyways.
hearing the bees buzzing and the birds chirping.
Live the life
and
you
see
want.
the sun
Fuck it.
like a magnificent father so grossly.
That's also coming from someone who's really good in school, though. So, if you're not at least past high school.
Incandescent. For MMO players, there just isn't a feeling more real than this one. I've been there multiple times, and it's kind of mind-blowing every single time. Wasn't it like 11 p.m. just a few minutes ago? You feel
that has happened to me,
like you're going crazy, but
no, don't feel that, but yeah.
Fly when you're gaming through the night. It's like those time lapses you see in games, but in real life.
But in real life,
Big Boss can smoke a cigar,
and
12 hours passes by in a second. You playing League of Legends can do the same thing, I guess. It's kind of crazy what the human brain is capable of. Sometimes a minute can feel like the longest time ever.
That was like actually used to prove that time is an illusion, because it was like, oh, if you try to plank for 2 minutes, and that 2 minutes will feel like the longest 2 minutes you've ever witnessed in your existence as a being. But then try to do something else that's actually like hours, like that you enjoy, so say like gaming, or one of the examples I heard used is like spending time with a loved one, and it feels like the time goes by almost in an instant. And
sometimes literal hours can pass without realizing it. We've all been in situations where the plan is to get some Z's, only for time to be like, I have altered my plan. Pray I don't alter it further. Suddenly, it's morning. You've written a video about confessions a late-night gamer might have, and you've got bloodstains on your shirt. Well, if the bloodstain thing's happening, maybe see something about that. But it's crazy how much time can pass by when you're really engrossed in a game. That's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on Gameranx.
Well, That was facts. My detective work is done, and this is 100% facts. I love how universal us gamers are. This is just such a true thing right there. Yeah, man. I swear gaming, just to end up and wrap up on that last note, I swear gaming is the most where I've witnessed the weird time looping shit. Where it's like your mom asks you want to go to the store? And then she's like, yeah, we'll go in like 2 hours or something. And I swear, I play like 2 rounds of Siege, and that 2 hours is here. And you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, there's a lot of weird time warping shit when you get into gaming. That's especially why I like playing Minecraft or Terraria. Because there was a point in time where I literally did not think I could play Terraria at all. I was like, this game is way too fucking hard. Could not understand even where to start. Now I'm over here building masterpieces of villages. But also, I had like 2 minutes into the game. Like, it was like my French friend tried to get me into it a long time ago when we were younger. And he's like, bro, you gotta play this shit. It's awesome. I seen his world, and I was like, bro, I'm never gonna get to this shit. What the fuck? Storages, everything organized, insane, and that's insane amount of hours. Here I am looking at my game with like 16 minutes in it because I could barely understand it. Only gave it a 16-minute chance. And that 16 minutes went to an hour, and I was like, it's kind of getting fun. Now I logged like 148 hours in like the fast. That shit is insane, bro. I'm like at, I think, like 200 something hours now. That shit is crazy. Shit is really insane. But yeah. Anyways, much love and Moonlight. I'll see you on the next one. Tell me down below what game you've logged too many hours in where it's sickening. Mine is Gary's mod. I think I had like 2,000 hours plus. Yeah, that shit was insane. A lot of role playing in the game. That's why. But I'm out of here. Peace.